Tell me something. Have you ever looked into a woman's eyes and felt like she was hiding something? Like her lips said, "I'm fine," but her silence screamed your name? You tried to move on, didn't you? But late at night, when your mind goes quiet, her face shows up again. The girl who once touched your soul and then vanished without an explanation. You replay that moment, the last thing she said before she walked away. Maybe it was, "You deserve better." Maybe it was, "It's not you, it's me." But deep down you knew that was a lie. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Women rarely speak their real emotion. They show them. In their eyes. In their tone. In the tiny ways they hesitate when you're around. And if you've ever wondered whether she still thinks about you, whether she secretly wants you but can't admit it, this video will expose everything. But before we begin, I want you to do one thing. Go to the comments and write the last thing your ex said before she left. Let's see how many of us were lied to in the same way. Because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a woman's silence the same again. 1. The subtle shifts in her energy. Every man has experienced that strange, almost electric moment. You walk into a place, and suddenly something changes. The air feels different. You don't know why, but your instincts whisper that someone has just become aware of your presence. You turn your head, and there she is, pretending to scroll through her phone, pretending she didn't notice you. But her energy? It just told a story her lips never could. You see, attraction isn't always loud. It's not always obvious. In fact, when a woman truly desires you, it's quiet, controlled, hidden, behind layers of subtle behavior that only the emotionally intelligent man can sense. Psychologists call it nonverbal leakage, the subconscious, signals that escape when emotions are too strong to contain. And when a woman feels that magnetic pull toward you, it leaks through her body language before her mind can suppress it. Her posture changes, her tone softens, her breathing slows, and her entire nervous system subtly prepares itself for the one thing she doesn't want you to notice: desire. Picture this. You're sitting in a cafe in London on a cold afternoon. You've got your coffee in hand, scrolling through your phone, completely lost in thought. Across from you, there's a woman sitting by the window, blonde hair, navy trench coat, a book half open in front of her. You haven't spoken a word to her. But the moment your eyes meet, something in her energy shifts. She straightens her posture. Her fingers trace the rim of her coffee cup. Her legs cross slowly, deliberately. Most men would ignore this. But not you. Because you understand that women express what they feel, not always what they say. Here's the truth most men don't want to accept. A woman's attraction starts long before she admits it, long before she even understands it herself. Her body recognizes desire before her mind does. It's her biology, not her choice. When she's attracted to you, she unconsciously aligns her energy with yours. Her words may sound normal, her behavior polite, but underneath that calm exterior, her body language begins to mirror you. Psychology calls it the mirroring effect, with the subconscious imitation of another person's tone, gestures, and energy as a way to create connection. So if you find that she subtly matches your pace, mirrors your expressions, or even breathes in rhythm with you, that's not random. That's her nervous system aligning itself with yours. But here's the twist. The women who desire you the most often hide it the best. They suppress it with logic, fearing judgment or rejection. So instead of expressing interest openly, they send quiet signals, hoping you'll feel it rather than see it. The Stoics would say, the wise man observes more than he reacts. And that's the key. While weak men chase words, strong men read energy. You don't need her to confess she likes you. Her stillness when you walk in the room is confession enough. The way her laughter fades when you talk to another woman, that's confession enough. When a woman's desire begins to form, her entire energy field reorganizes around you. You'll feel it, not because you're special, but because you're present enough to notice. And in that awareness, you gain something rare: emotional power. Because the man who can sense energy without needing validation is the man women desire but can never fully read. That's the mystery that keeps them coming back. 2. The magnetic eye contact. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, but when a woman desires you, her eyes don't just reveal her soul, they betray her secrets. Let's get something straight. Women can fake almost anything. Smiles, kindness, even interest. But there's one thing they can't fake. That fleeting moment when their gaze lingers just a little too long. That's where truth lives. Imagine you're at a dinner party in Manchester. The room is full of laughter, clinking glasses, conversations blending together. You glance across the table and there she is. She's not talking to you directly, but when you look up, her eyes lock onto yours. Not for a second. Not for two. For just long enough that you feel it. That microsecond of silence between two people who both know something's happening, but neither wants to admit it. That's not just a look. That's emotional transmission. Psychology calls it the pupil dilation effect. When we see someone we're attracted to, our pupils naturally expand. It's an involuntary reaction of the autonomic nervous system. Her eyes widen, her gaze softens, her focus narrows, because at that moment, her brain is releasing dopamine. You are literally lighting up her reward centers just by existing. But here's what makes it powerful. She doesn't even realize she's doing it. You see, when a woman looks at you before she even understands it herself and holds that gaze, she's trying to study you. Not your looks, but your presence, the way your energy feels, the way your eyes make her feel about herself. Because women don't fall for appearances. They fall for how a man's presence changes their emotional state. There's a man I once spoke to, named Liam from New York. He told me, I used to wonder why this woman at work kept staring at me from across the office. She never said a word. One day she told me, you make me feel calm. I used to stare because I didn't know how else to feel close to you. That's what eye contact does. It builds emotional intimacy before physical intimacy even begins. But here's the mistake most men make. They break the tension too early. They panic under pressure, smirk awkwardly, or turn away. When you do that, you dissolve the very magnetism her subconscious is trying to create. The Stoic approach? Stillness, composure, calm power. When she looks at you, hold it. Not in arrogance, not in aggression, but in silent confidence. Because that silence tells her everything she needs to know, that you are grounded, self-controlled, and unbothered by intensity. And that's what truly draws women in. Not looks, not money, not words, but emotional stillness in a man who knows his value. Marcus Aurelius once said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When a woman desires you, her gaze becomes dyed with her thoughts of you. You'll see it in the way her eyes soften when you speak, in the way she struggles to maintain composure when your eyes meet unexpectedly. That's her mind betraying her heart. So pay attention, and not to what she says, but to how she looks at you after she stops speaking. That moment between words, that's where truth hides. Because when attraction is real, her eyes don't lie. They're not just windows, they're invitations. Point 3. Her energy changes when you're around. Have you ever noticed how some women suddenly shift their entire energy the moment you enter the room? 1 second, she's talking casually with her friends at that coffee shop in downtown London. The next, her tone softens, her body language relaxes, and she starts brushing her hair behind her ear a little too often. That's not random. That's biology whispering louder than words. You see, attraction is not always visible, it's vibrational. When a woman secretly desires you, her entire nervous system reacts the moment she senses your presence. Her pupils might dilate, her breathing slows, her laughter becomes lighter, and her gestures more fluid. She might even unconsciously mirror your actions, sipping her coffee when you sip yours, leaning back when you do. This mirroring is one of the subconscious ways women try to align themselves with your rhythm without even realizing it. Let me tell you a story. A guy named Ethan from Chicago shared something fascinating. He said, every time I walked into the office break room, there was this girl, Emily. Long before she even understands it herself, she'd be completely normal with others, direct, focused, sometimes even a little cold. But with me, it was like she transformed. Her smile stayed longer. She'd ask unnecessary questions just to keep the conversation going. And sometimes, she'd find reasons to laugh at things that weren't even that funny. That's the power of attraction energy. You can't fake it and you can't hide it. A woman's energy tells you everything you need to know, even before she does. And here's the Stoic truth. A man grounded in himself, calm and unmoved, amplifies that attraction even more. Because women don't just desire men who talk. They desire men who make them feel safe in their chaos. A woman may not even consciously understand why she feels that way, but her instincts do. It's nature. She's drawn to the man whose energy makes her feel something beyond logic. In Los Angeles, a psychology experiment was once done where women were asked to rate men based on energy presence alone. No looks, no words, just presence. And the result? The most desired men were the ones who appeared centered, composed and emotionally stable. That's what Stoicism gives you. Control over your own emotional frequency. And when you master that, women can sense it. Their tone changes. Their gaze softens. Their laughter becomes genuine. Even their silence feels louder. So next time you feel like a woman acts differently around you, pause. Observe her energy. If she becomes calmer, gentler, or strangely playful in your presence, that's not coincidence. That's attraction quietly unfolding, without a single word spoken. Remember, the feminine is drawn to stability, like a flame drawn to still air. When you hold your calm, you make her chaos feel understood. And that, my friend, is the purest form of attraction. Point 4, she tests you emotionally. Let's be honest, women don't just fall for men, they test them first. And if you've ever been through this, you know it's not always pretty. One moment she's sweet and affectionate. The next she pulls back, goes cold, or throws a random sarcastic remark that leaves you questioning everything. You might think she's losing interest, but in reality, she's testing your emotional strength. This is one of the deepest psychological signs of female desire. The test of masculine composure. Because a woman who doesn't care about you won't test you. She'll ignore you. But when a woman desires you, she wants to verify that her desire is safe. There's a reason women in London, New York, or Sydney all behave in similar ways when they're attracted but cautious. And they want to see if you're the kind of man who loses balance at the first sign of pressure, or the man who can remain still, confident, and unfazed, no matter what emotional storm she creates. I remember a story from a guy named Jake in Manchester. He met a woman named Sophie at a local gym. They clicked instantly, but after 2 weeks she started behaving cold and replying, late, acting distant, even flirting subtly with another guy. Most men would have reacted emotionally, texted more, demanded answers, or tried harder. But Jake didn't. He stayed calm, continued focusing on his workouts, greeted her politely but didn't chase. 2 days later, Sophie came back to him, smiling, playful again, and saying, "I just wanted to see if you'd actually care." That's the test, and when Jake passed. You see, women test men for 2 reasons. First, to confirm if your masculinity is stable under emotional chaos. And second, to validate that her attraction is not misplaced. When you react with panic or neediness, you fail her subconscious test. But when you respond with calm awareness, she feels a powerful emotional pull toward you. Because you just showed her what every feminine soul craves. A man who doesn't bend under pressure. In psychology, this is called emotional polarity. The feminine tests the masculine not to destroy it, but to trust it. That's why Stoicism is your greatest weapon. When you learn to remain unmoved by external chaos, you become the mountain, steady, firm, unshaken. And women, consciously or not, always fall for the mountain. So the next time she gives you attitude, ignores your text, or throws subtle emotional chaos your way, don't take it personally. Don't argue. Don't chase. Just observe. Because often, that moment of silence will tell her more about you than any words ever could. Remember, the man she truly desires isn't the one who reacts to her emotions. It's the one who understands them, respects them, and still stands his ground. That's emotional mastery. That's masculine strength. And that's what keeps her secretly obsessed. Long after she walks away. Point 5. Her eyes tell you everything. Even when her lips stay silent. There's a saying that goes, "A woman's eyes are a mirror to her hidden emotions." And the truth is, and when a woman secretly desires you, she may not say it out loud, but her eyes will betray her every single time. You can fake a smile, you can fake a laugh, but you can't fake eye contact that lingers half a second too long. That one look, the kind that freezes time. The kind that feels like she just saw something she's been craving for too long. Let me tell you a story. A real story from a man named Ryan, from Brighton, England. Ryan used to visit this small, cozy coffee shop every morning before work. One day, a new barista named Hannah started working there. She was polite, calm, with that quiet beauty that doesn't shout for attention. But there was something about her eyes. Every time Ryan walked in, her gaze would lift immediately, lock onto him, and linger just a little too long. She wouldn't say much, maybe a simple good morning, but the warmth in her eyes told a story words could never tell. Her pupils dilated, her blink rate slowed down, her lips slightly parted when their eyes met. Psychology tells us these micro-signals are not random. They're unfiltered expressions of attraction. For weeks, Ryan pretended not to notice, but every time he walked in, her eyes searched for him. And when he was gone for a few days, the day he returned, she whispered, "Haven't seen you in a while." That one line, and the way she said it, carried the weight of a woman trying to hide her desire under politeness. You see, the eyes are where emotional truth lives. When a woman desires you, her gaze gives her away before her words do. It's not always about long stares. Sometimes, it's quick glances when she thinks you're not looking. Sometimes it's that look she gives you across a crowded room, only to look away with a shy smile when you catch her. In psychology, this is called nonverbal leakage, when someone's subconscious emotions slip out through their expressions, even if they're trying to hide them. Women are masters at controlling what they say, but the eyes are rebels. They tell the truth no matter how hard she tries to conceal it. And here's where Stoicism gives you an advantage. Most men, when they catch that kind of eye contact, lose composure. They rush in, they speak too fast, they try to confirm what they think they saw. But a Stoic man and a grounded, self-assured man doesn't react. He observes. He lets silence speak louder than words. He meets her gaze calmly with quiet confidence. Not neediness, not arrogance, but stillness. And that stillness makes her heart race faster. Because women don't just desire what they can have easily. They desire what they can't fully read. The more mysterious your reaction, the more her curiosity deepens. She starts thinking about you when you're not around, wondering what your story is, why your energy feels different, why your eyes didn't demand her attention but accepted it calmly, as if you've seen beauty before and you're not impressed by just looks. That, my friend, is emotional dominance, the rare kind of presence that few men have. And remember, women are deeply emotional creatures. They crave emotional experiences. When your energy makes them feel something beyond words, safety, curiosity, desire, their attraction grows roots. Her eyes may look away, but her mind won't. Now here's a fascinating thing about attraction psychology. When a woman truly desires a man but fears rejection, she'll use her eyes as a bridge. She'll look at you more often than she intends. And when caught, she'll play it off like nothing happened. But her body language will always betray the truth. Maybe she'll touch her neck, play with her hair, or bite her lip. These are primal indicators of vulnerability. Signals that say, "You're in my mind even if I can't say it." Let me share another story, this one from Los Angeles. A woman named Jessica, a corporate lawyer, confessed during a relationship psychology session that she had been secretly attracted to a colleague for 6 months. She never said a word, but she said, every time he walked, long before she even understands it herself, past me, my body would just react. I'd lose focus. I'd find myself staring at him during meetings, hoping he wouldn't notice. That's the truth about female desire. It hides behind silence, but the eyes always scream it. So when you notice her looking at you differently, don't rush. Let the silence breathe. Because sometimes that unspoken connection, that electric pause, says more than 1,000 conversations. And here's the Stoic perspective. A wise man never chases validation from looks, but he reads them like signs of nature. He doesn't let attraction control him. He understands it, respects it, but remains the master of his emotions, because that's what makes a man truly desirable. Not his appearance, not his wealth, not his charm, but his ability to stay calm when the world is trying to provoke him emotionally. So next time her eyes meet yours, and you feel that strange stillness in the air, don't question it. That's not coincidence. That's chemistry. And if you can remain calm within that chaos, she'll remember you long after you've walked away. Because every woman desires one thing more than love itself. A man whose silence says, "I understand you," even when you say nothing at all. Point 6. Her energy changes around you, the silent frequency of desire. Sometimes, it's not in her words. It's not even in her eyes. It's in her energy, that invisible shift in the air when she walks into the same room as you. It's the way her tone softens when she speaks to you. The way her laughter becomes lighter, almost musical. It's how her presence feels different when it's just the two of you. Like her guard drops and the real her peeks through for a moment. You see, attraction isn't always visible, it's energetic. It's the shift that happens when her emotions, hormones, and subconscious mind all sync in your presence. And if you pay attention, you'll feel it before you can logically explain it. Let me take you into a real story. One that happened to Ethan, A 31-year-old graphic designer from Manchester, UK. Ethan worked in a busy office. Long hours, tight deadlines, constant noise. But there was one person who made those long days feel like seconds. Chloe, the marketing coordinator. Now, Chloe wasn't the loudest or the most talkative woman in the room. But whenever Ethan walked in, her entire energy would shift. She'd suddenly become more attentive. Her body posture changed. She'd sit straighter, tuck her hair behind her ear, and her voice would take on a softer tone. When she laughed at his jokes, it wasn't the same laugh she used with others. It had warmth, a genuine sparkle. And when Ethan spoke, she'd lean in, even if the room was quiet. Most men would miss it, but Ethan started noticing. The small hesitations, the slightly deeper breath when he walked past, the pause before she spoke, the way her body subtly turned toward him, even when someone else was talking. That, my friend, is energetic. Long before she even understands it herself. Attraction, the unspoken chemistry that exists beyond logic, beyond words. Psychologists call it limbic synchrony, when two people's emotional systems start mirroring each other subconsciously. It's how two souls tune into each other without trying. When a woman desires you deeply, her entire nervous system reacts. Her tone changes, her breathing pattern shifts, her emotional rhythm adapts to yours. And the more you stay calm and grounded, the stronger that pull becomes. Because here's the truth. Women are emotional antennas. They feel energy before they understand it. If your energy radiates stillness, confidence, and self-control, she won't even know why, but she'll start craving your presence. Let's break this down with another example. A man named Liam from San Francisco once told me, "There's this woman I barely talk to at the gym, but every time I walk in, she just lights up. Her whole energy changes. She becomes louder, laughs more, moves differently. It's like she wants me to notice her, even without saying anything." And that's exactly how female desire hides and in plain sight. She won't say, "I like you." She'll show you through shifts so subtle most men miss them. If she's nervous, she'll fidget. If she's excited, her speech will speed up slightly. If she's shy, her voice may tremble when she greets you. If she's confident, her tone will drop. Deeper, calmer, controlled. All of this is energy. It's the subconscious language of desire. But here's where Stoic philosophy changes everything. Most men chase that energy. They become addicted to it. They start overanalyzing every sign, trying to capture it. But a Stoic man doesn't chase energy. He embodies it. He becomes the calm in the storm, the still center that women naturally gravitate toward. Because when your energy is strong, silent, and unshakable, her emotions bend toward you like gravity. You don't need to do anything extraordinary. You don't need pickup lines, fake charm, or constant validation. You just need presence. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And in attraction, that's the hidden truth. When your mind is calm, your presence becomes magnetic. Women can sense chaos. They can feel insecurity even before a man opens his mouth. But they also feel peace in us, and peace is addictive in a world full of noise. When you walk into a room with quiet confidence, not arrogance, but grounded energy, it's like a signal to her subconscious that says, "You're safe here. You can be real here." That's why some men leave a lasting impression without saying much. Because while others talk, a Stoic man makes her feel. So if you ever sense that her energy changes around you, if she laughs more, fidgets more, or looks calmer in your presence, understand what's really happening. Her body is reacting to your emotional frequency. Her subconscious is syncing with yours. And the most powerful response, long before she even understands it herself. Stay calm. Stay collected. Don't rush to define it. Don't let your ego take control. Because the moment you start chasing her reaction, you lose the energy that created it. But when you stay grounded, when you let her energy flow freely, she becomes addicted to the mystery of it. That's how you make her think about you when you're not there. That's how she starts dreaming of you without knowing why. Because desire isn't built through words, and it's built through presence. In the end, her energy tells you everything. The tone, the rhythm, the warmth, it all whispers the same message. You're different. And that's when you know. She's not just attracted to your looks or your charm. She's drawn to your essence, the man who doesn't need to chase, because he already is the storm and the calm that follows it. Conclusion. Attraction isn't a game. It's psychology wrapped in emotion. Every look, every silence, every shift in energy, it all means something. But here's the truth. The moment you start chasing, you lose power. The moment you start observing, you gain it. A woman's desire isn't something you create. It's something you awaken. So be the man who listens more than he speaks, who remains calm when others react, and who understands that his peace is his most seductive weapon, because the Stoics were right. The man who needs nothing attracts everything. With that said, thanks for watching.